Have you ever wondered how the bloody elves manage to be so rich in every fantasy universe? Is it the same in Warhammer, you ask? Of course it is. They swim in a sea of gold, silks, and every possible luxury imaginable. Is there a reason, you ask, why Malekith wants the Phoenix Throne so much? I'll tell you this. It's because of all the riches Alt One has. And the answer is, the High Elves have built seas of gold. Wealth beyond imagination. And they sit on it, acting all pish posh as if they're better than all of us. And how did they do such a wondrous achievement? It's a little trick called entrepreneurs, or rather, investing in creating an entrepreneurial spirit in a large part of their population, creating a small army of Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezoses, and Elon Musks, who open their own alt1.com where they sell every possible item imaginable. They build their own little cars called Phoenix, a car of the future, and make sure every year every elf buys the new version of iMagic. It's the same Winds of Magic, just colored differently. And it makes sure the economy keeps running on steroids. Welcome back, boys. Linksy today is going to let you know how the High Elves make money. And this is done through a variety of traits. Stackable traits, of course, a skill tree which does boost it significantly, and of course shenanigans that is only available to the High Elves and their pishy-poshiness. Getting the big and main way of making gold out of the way, simply put, is getting a stack of entrepreneurs in a location of your choice. Ideally, this would be either the Isthmus of Lustria or Ithane, since these two regions are the most suited for them. Understandable, there are other regions which are just as good. However, the Isthmus of Lustria has the most raw potential for income, and Ithane, being the safer option of the two, is the one that you would establish the earliest if you're playing the High Elves, especially as Tyrion, Alariel, or Eltarion. And how does this work? Starting a pop-up industry every week does make it better. Drinking real raw water and sunning your rear once a week together collectively in the vague direction of Nagarunt helps. However, the trade gives you a 3% tax increase faction-wide for every hero you have. And this, boys, stacks up with everything else that you have going on. And on top of this, and this is the reason why you want them in a single region, it gives you a 15% income increase from all buildings in the local province. This is crazy. And this is why you want a region with 4 settlements. A province with 4 settlements gives you, of course, more base income and allows you this 15% boost to stack up much, much faster. Think about it. The money you're going to be making, it's ridiculous. Now, handmaidens or mages are the only ones that get the traits of entrepreneur. And handmaidens themselves are very easy to get, especially if you're playing as Alariel, you're going to be getting them out of the wazoo. With Alariel, it's a third tier building that you can spam on pretty much every settlement, yet another handmaiden comes. However, the real moneymakers, which are the mages, can only come from province capitals as they require the archive building tree. A big investment, however, after a series of upgrades, they do help a lot. It takes a while to build up, and as you remember from my last video where I remind you how important it is to build with growth, this is the reason why. Because the higher tier you are, the more mages you can get, the more mages you get, the more money you make, the more money you make, well, the more armies you have. And if you didn't watch the last video, oh boy, I'll tell you what. It's a spicy video, so go check it out. I'll wait for you. I'm still waiting. You watched it? Perfect. The problem that you're gonna face when recruiting mages and handmaidens on a mass scale is the realization that 60 influence per mage or handmaiden stacks up and is very expensive. And the way you fix this is with nobles. These bad boys get you all the influence that you need to attract young entrepreneurs to your budding economic powerhouse. Simply recruit them and surround the settlement and then steal as much influence from them as possible. The settlement's gonna hate your guts, but it's okay. You're gonna be so rich, you should not even care. Eventually, you will even be able to buy them off. Hell, you're gonna be so rich and have so much influence, no one's gonna bother you. And if you feel that this is not enough money that you're making, and this is saying something, because you're easily going to be making anything between 30,000 to 100,000 gold per turn by turn 100, above and beyond having 6 or 7 armies. Well, there is a way to do this. With nobles, you can get the ability to add extra 30% production on each and every single one of your trading resources in the local region. Yet if you really want to skyrocket this out of control and become a trade kingdom worthy of owning the entire world and beyond, you can just go ahead and use Merchant Lord on Prince and Princesses. This gives you the ability to recruit lords, level them up with a 9% extra trade resources faction-wide. This increases the amount of trade resources you have, and the best part, you can also give them a dedicated wall, which gives them a 1% increase to industry, or a dedicated to Matlan, which gives you 1% increase from port. This 1% you say is not a lot, but it stacks up very easily, especially since this is faction-wide and elves generally have a giant empire. Then you disband them, so you're not paying for their upkeep whatsoever. This is a trait that a lot of factions use with their heroes, with their generals. You can simply have an endless army of generals waiting, having an existential crisis when they realize they materialize matter out of nothing, and that is their existence, nothing else. And your empire becomes stronger and richer. If you do go down this route, you might want to spam the Elven Embassy, as if you do this, it's a tier 3 building that gives you 5% income from trading per building. And if you have a few hundred of those, your income is going to skyrocket. It's a tier 3 building, you can build it in every single settlement. Of course, then there's an added bonus that each one will give you 2 influence per turn, passively, and some other bonuses. At the end of this, Elf seems to be making money out of thin air, and if you think that, you're pretty much right. Although, if you do not want to see how this happens to ridiculous levels, I would really not suggest checking out my friend Mercy the Mad, who has shown the ability of compound interest with Altarion. I definitely am not recommending that you go watch his video, which will teach you how to break the game utterly in a few turns, and I am definitely not suggesting this is a ridiculously fun way of playing the game, at least for once before they remove it. So please do not click the link that is in the description, and please do not go check out this with Altarion. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I hope you are well. This has been Linksy, and goodbye!